Hey guys, what's poppin'? Jacques Slade here, and this is the best, worst, goodest, most disrespectful Jordan 1 I've seen in a very long time. But first, for those of you that are used to seeing the unboxings here on my channel, here is the unboxing of the Air Jordan 1 Pine Green. So as you can see, the unboxing is pretty normal when it comes to sneakers. It's the black and red box. And then you also have the shoes. These actually come with an extra set of laces in red, which kind of would give the shoe, I guess, a Gucci feel with the red and the green, or Christmas, depending on how you look at it. Pretty simple unboxing, but let's get back to the shoe. So before I dig into all the details about this shoe and why I think it's the goodest, bestest, worstest, most disrespectful Jordan 1 we've seen in a very long time, I kind of want to touch on the Jordan history. Most of you guys know this. It was started in 1985, but there's one thing that I think a lot of people don't really realize is that originally there were only 13 colorways of the Air Jordan 1. I know we have a lot more than that at this point, but in 1985/86, when the shoe was released, of the Air Jordan 1 High, and that's a very important distinction. It's the Air Jordan 1 High, not the Air Jordan 1 High KO, because that's a different shoe entirely. But the Air Jordan 1 High, there were 13 original colorways. And even back then, they did have a green one, but it was just white and metallic green. And it didn't really represent what I think this one represents. And again, we'll get into that in just a moment. So why is it the goodest? That's not a word, but why is it the goodest Air Jordan 1 we've seen in a long time? Well, part of that for me is the leather that they use on this shoe. As you see, a lot of the upper has tumbled leather, and that's not something that they traditionally do with the Air Jordan 1. So you've had a lot of purists and people that really love the Air Jordan 1 speak out against the use of tumbled leather on the places that they use it here on the Jordan 1. I personally don't mind it as much, but I can see why people would get upset and not necessarily like the shoe because of that. But on the other side of that, the use of tumbled leather, I feel, allows them to give you a softer, more malleable leather on the shoe. The Jordan 1 has had a bit of a history of coming out in leathers or quality of leathers that aren't necessarily the best, but when they use tumbled leather, oftentimes, and I would say more often than not, we often get a better feeling, a softer, more malleable leather on the shoe. That sort of philosophy stands here. You see they have the tumbled leather at the heel, on the Nike swoosh, on the wings, and here at the toe box. And the most important of those, I feel, is at the toe box. In today's world where there's this resale culture and everything needs to look brand new, the concept of wearing your shoes and giving them character doesn't hold the same weight that it used to. I would say, I guess, old school in that way, that when I wear my shoes, like the Jordan 1, I like them to look like they're worn in. I don't like them to look exactly brand new, like they just came out of the box. I'm not in that sort of hype beast world. I like people to know that I appreciate the shoe and I appreciate the work that Peter Moore did when he designed the shoe. So for me, the tumbled leather here adds to that character of the shoe. Tumbled leather makes it feel like the shoe has already been worn, and so it doesn't look necessarily brand new. And on the flip side of that, for those that are concerned about the shoes looking worn or getting a crease, which we know everyone tries to prevent with that sort of duck walk, when you have the tumbled leather here, it's going to hide that crease here at the toe a lot more because the tumbled leather has the creases in it already, essentially. So when you are walking in them and you get that crease there at the toe, you won't really be able to notice it because of the tumbled leather. So in a sense, it's a win-win. You get a better quality leather, and then you also get an already worn in looking sort of toe box, so that when you do get the crease, it doesn't look dramatically different from when you originally got the shoe. Another thing that I really like about this model is the use of black. They have tumbled leather here over really the majority of this shoe. It's on the inlays as well. And again, it's a softer leather, which makes me feel like the leather is a better quality and will stand up longer than the harder plastic sort of feeling leather that we've gotten sometimes on the Air Jordan 1. So when I hear people complain about it changing the look of the Jordan 1, it worries me a little bit, because I don't think they understand how it's going to make it easier for the shoe to mold to the shape of your personal foot. That way these become more like your personal pair the more that you wear them. If you have the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1, you notice that they use a lot of tumbled leather on that model as well. And mysteriously, you didn't hear a lot of complaints about the tumbled leather on the Travis Scott Jordan 1, but you're definitely hearing those complaints on this shoe, the Pine Green. The black Nike swoosh, which is tumbled leather as well, and then that's a really nice soft leather on there as well. Just really, really feels great. Like, you can really tell that these are gonna feel awesome when you put these on your feet. So the difference between this Jordan 1 and some of the more recently released Jordan 1s goes past just the leather that's on the upper. They actually put the Wings logo and stitched it into the wings here on the side of the shoe. And on the other Jordan 1s, some of those are actually embossed into the wings area and they're not actually stitched on. So this just gives the shoe a slightly different feel. It's something that Jordan Brand is really good at doing, is they'll make these little small tiny differences to the shoe to differentiate them from each other, especially when there's a colorway that's similar to another colorway that we've already seen. You see it here in black, but it's a completely black logo. There is no repressed areas or elevated areas that show the green underneath. So it's almost like it's covering the original Wings logo with a stitched on Wings logo that's completely in black. Now, when it comes to the disrespect, I do feel like this has some disrespect to it. And when I say disrespect, I don't mean to the Jordan 1, but I just think more of to the Jordan legacy. Yes, there have been green Jordans before, but I have a peculiar feeling about Jordan Brand making green Air Jordan 1s because of the rivalry and the intense rivalry that Michael Jordan had with the Boston Celtics. Now, for you Celtics fans out there, I'm sure you're happy to get an Air Jordan 1 in a green colorway. For you, it's perfect. You can wear it with your Celtic jerseys. But for me, as a fan of Michael Jordan and a fan of the Bulls, it's hard for me to accept, I'll say, a green Jordan 1 being added to the Jordan 1 legacy. Again, I know that they've already released green Jordans before, and this isn't the first time, but there is something that kind of irks at me as a fan, that I don't want to see Jordan wearing a pair of green shoes because of Michael Jordan's legacy and because of how the Celtics beat him up every time they played, even though he won some games and he lost some, but Jordan went hard at them and they went hard back at him. Putting green on his original shoe, the shoe that really helped establish the sneaker world, just feels a tinge bit disrespectful. And I know I've talked about wanting to hear more stories about Jordan that made him a bigger character and that explored a little bit more of his life, but this in green is just a tough pill to swallow. It's the Celtics. Like, you can't get any more intense of a rivalry for Michael Jordan than the Celtics. Maybe the Pistons, but I would have to go with the Celtics. Now, final small details about the shoe that people probably didn't notice right away is the hit of green that's here on the tongue of the shoe. They did a really great job of just adding that little pop there. And also, this is usually made out of nylon. For this pair, they actually made it out of leather as well. You don't often get leather here on the tongue tag, but this also may be why there is a $10 price jump for these. They went up to $170 as opposed to $160. This year, 2020, and I imagine beyond, Jordan Brand is raising the price, and I don't know if it's the leather and the leather quality on these, because it definitely feels like a step up in quality, or they leveled up with a level manufacturing, or they just found a batch of really great leather and that's what they're using on these. But either way it goes, the price is going up. So anyway, So that's my look at the Air Jordan 1 Pine Green. I didn't want to do necessarily unboxing, but I wanted to take a look at the shoe, look at some of the details, how well they put the shoe together, the quality, the craftsmanship, and then the use of the leather that I think is better for everyone that wears a Jordan 1. Yes, we want the originals, and yes, we want the look of the original, but when Jordan Brand makes a change like this that upgrades and changes the shoe, in my opinion, to make it better, to make it more wearable, for those that want to grab yourself a pair of these are actually still available right now on the sneakers app, so you can grab yourself a pair if you want to grab one. Otherwise, I would say at least if you can find them in the store, just get one on your hands and feel the difference that it makes when they use leather like this versus some of the other Jordan 1s that have released in the recent past. Anyway, that being said, as always, guys, I'm Jacques Slade. Like, favorite, subscribe if you want. I would love it, but you don't have to. Just enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy the content. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Peace. So when you are walking in them and you build